So you want to go to market with your partners, right? Drive more revenue, go through co-selling or co-marketing. You've tried recruiting partners and enable them, built the operations for everything, but the main thing is that they're just not driving revenue, right? Which is the main thing for your business. So this sort of module is going to cover exactly how to execute with partners through co-selling, co-marketing, and joint business planning. It's where partners stop being a project and start being more so a revenue channel, right? That little side thing. We want to produce revenue for you. So let me just actually make this smaller. So there's three go-to-market motions. Motion one, co-selling, working together to close deals. Two, co-marketing, creating demand together through joint campaigns, the top of the funnel. And then motion three, joint business planning, aligning on strategy, deals, and execution. And all three need to work together, really. So when we look at co-selling, the revenue engine, co-selling means your team and partner teams work together to close deals. So the three co-selling models, model one, which is partner-led. The partner owns their customer relationship. They bring you in to close the deal. Example might be implementation partner has an existing client who needs your software. Partner introduces you, stays involved through close, then delivers implementation. And when to use it, partner has relationships and you're the add-on. Model two, vendor-led. You own the customer relationship. You bring partners in to help close. Example, your sales team finds opportunity, customers need implementation help, you introduce certified partners to de-risk the deal. And so when you want to use it is you have the relationship and the partner provides necessary service, right? And I'll be honest, typically in the beginning, it's this when you build a relationship with partners, unless you kind of we'll be working a lot with current clients. So what we've been seeing is that they'll have a bunch of integrations, and what we do is like say like, hey, we know you're a reseller for this integration partner. We actually integrate with them. We've had some customers find success in working with our two solutions together. Would suggest hopping on or signing us up on it or selling our services as well. Basically, you're kind of piggybacking off people who already believe or serve that same business outcome of certain integration partners that you do have, even though they're a separate type of partner, like a partner of a partner. So that is something that we've been saying, but typically it's kind of vendor-led. In co-discovery, neither party owns a relationship yet. You hunt together. That's also possible where both sides are kind of still filling each other out. A partner identifies prospect. You both work together, opportunity together from discovery to close, and when to use it, new market, new accounts, or strategic initiatives, right? And so when we look at the co-selling process, step one, account mapping, identify where you have overlapping prospects and customers, tools, cross-beam reveal or manual spreadsheet comparison, output, list of accounts both parties can pursue together, right? This is where typically in the beginning of relationships you kind of overlap prospect and customers. You got to really have strong trust for them to actually give you the customers because they don't want to look bad. So typically you might have to do the thing first and then kind of look for the real reciprocity, right? And then opportunity selection, pick accounts from highest probability of success. So typical criteria that we kind of help work with is customers as pain points both parties can solve, right? You got to make sure it's mutually beneficial. Deal size justifies the effort, right? If it's like and I want to minimize it, right? But if it's like a $200 deal and like you're comparing it to like maybe like a 50K deal, you're going to weigh the 50K deal a little bit more, right? So depending on your average order value and like what the deal sizes are and like the kind of SaaS that you are or software product you have, this is like very low ticket subscription, then it's obviously going to vary, but yeah, it's something to keep in mind. Timing is reasonable and budget exists, right? Then we look at roles and responsibilities, define who does what, right? The sales rep responsibilities, leads discovery calls, present product demo, handle pricing and contracts, manage procurement process, assuming as if there's like a call type close. Partner responsibilities, provide technical validation, share implementation approach, offer customer references, support negotiations, right? And so technical validation is not necessarily the actual product demo itself, but like more so like how is it going to fit in the environment that they're kind of helping on. So like let's look at a consultant, for example. Like they're going to understand like what is the business outcome they're looking for, and from the technical aspect, how it ties in the business aspect, and kind of from there. So that implementation approach, joint execution, work the deal together. Typically, I've personally done a lot of deals like this as well, where it's like not weekly, maybe bi-weekly as well, but weekly works as well, depending on how impactful a partner is and how much you use them. But what happened this week? What's blocking progress? What's next? Who owns what actions? Right. Step 5, deal registration. Partner registers deal in your system for protection and commission tracking. Step 6, closing handoffs. So sales closes deals, partner begins delivery, everyone gets paid, right? So these prevent channel conflict. Rule number 1, the deal registration wins. So whoever registers first owns the opportunity if it's approved. Given that there might be some overlap, so you really got to identify the swim lanes, which is basically, if we touch on this throughout the channel, is essentially like, hey, like, I will not touch this segment. Supposedly, this is China, right? Like you are a U.S. based company, you've only sold in the U.S., but you want to break into China. You're not going to go after China-based accounts if they come to you, right? Like they're gonna own those opportunities. You got to make sure your swim lanes are defined in that kind of like black and white, where it's very easy that people don't get toes crossed along the line. Customer choice: if customer requests a specific partner, they get the deal, right? Pretty obvious. Compensation neutrality: and sales reps get same commission whether the partner is involved or not. I really emphasize on this one. The idea is for as a founder or CEO who's going to looking at this or head of sales, if you close a deal, that's more revenue than you had before, right? Like I know the margins might not be the best, but at the same time, like the more deals, like would you rather make 80% of 100K or like say 60% of like 500K, which is like what 300K? Yeah, so 300K, right? So it's a little bit less, but it's more, right? So you get the point. Partner respect: sales cannot go around partners once they're engaged. Yeah, that makes sense. And then escalation path: clear process for resolving conflicts. So some challenges you'll see with co-selling is sales resistance where I can close it themselves. You're going to have to prove that partners can increase win rates, and obviously it's depending on the type of partner. But if they're already in the account, then like pretty obviously you should include them. Show data, compensate sales the same, right? Ensure them like, hey, your commission is not going to be capped. Challenge 2: slow partner response. Partners take too long to engage because sometimes like, hey, like this is not my solution I'm selling. I might be getting a certain percentage of pie, but maybe I have something bigger going on or whatever their priorities are, right? So set like SLAs, 24-hour response time for hot opportunities. Ideally, right, you gotta have the same. You only want to take on partners that are gonna be like, hey, like I want to make money with you, and I understand speed to lead. How fast I get towards an opportunity is very important. Challenge number 3: misaligned timelines. Partners want to close Q3. You need Q2 revenue. So solution: align quarterly targets and joint business plans. Right. So challenge number 4: poor handoffs. Deal closes, but partner delivery goes badly. Solution: structure handoff process. Account manager stays involved. So when you're looking at actually the demand engine, which is basically the top of the funnel, co-marketing creates awareness and generates pipeline. So 3 marketing motions: to partners, recruit and activate more partners. I did not. To partners, recruit and activate more partners. With partners, join campaigns of customers, and through partners promote you to their audience. So when you're marketing to partners, you see this a lot in the affiliate space, especially in the business to consumer space. Build your partner pipeline, right? Like you want to get partner recruitment campaigns, industry event presence, referral programs, partner webinars, marketplace listings, and you want to basically track like, hey, how many applications are we receiving? How many partners are we recruiting? How long it takes to activate them? A recruitment cost per partner, right? Like kind of like the cost of acquisition for partner, cost of acquisition of a partner, CAP versus CAC. I guess a coin term right there. Marketing with partners, generate joint demand, which is essentially what I'm assuming you want to do with your partners, right? Where a lot of people spend a lot of their time. Content co-creation, joint assets, co-branded white papers, customer case studies, solution briefs, implementation guides, ROI calculators. Typical process is the partner proposes content idea, both parties approve topic and outline, draft created, usually you lead this, and then partner reviews and adds input, both parties approve the final version, co-branded and distributed, right? And you gotta make sure it's really good, right? Because I mean, I'll be so honest, like there's a lot of materials out there, like especially with AI, it's really easy to create like AI slop, as you call it. So you gotta be really careful with the kind of things you put out, but not saying you're producing slop, but just be very mindful of the kind of assets or like quote unquote lead magnets, basically attractions to your offer, which I'm assuming is what you want to do for both parties. Make sure it's actually quality, right? And like it's an immense amount of value. Joint webinars, again, same concept, right? Like everyone and their mom does a webinar, but realistically, is a webinar going to either bring the right people or is it going to actually convert? So 45 minutes total, 5-minute intro to you, 10-minute intro presents their expertise, 15 minutes you present your solution, and 10-minute joint customer study. And I would suggest, honestly, like when you do the 5-minute intro from you, like mention who you work with, build the social proof. The 10 minutes presents their expertise, right? Like more so thought leadership of like, hey, this is the XYZ thing we're issuing. This is how you'd solve it. XYZ had a similar thing, and you present your solution where it kind of ties into that. Like, hey, they were having a similar challenge. We helped this in this aspect of the problem. And this is how you can get around this problem. Like, there's broad sense of funneling down to your solution, and the joint customers are like, hey, so as you can tell, like we've been working a lot. We will work a lot together with each other, and so just want to share a couple of problems we've been solving for your current customers, and how we did it. So basically, you can see like what you could do for your own end, and then the Q&A session, right? Because if they're on the webinar, they know they're going to get sold at on some degree. Even if they don't fully admit it, but they're looking to get value and tangible things they can actually take actionably to solve a certain issue that they're having. So make sure you provide that. Otherwise, they're just going to put you in the sales bucket. They're not going to put you in like the expert bucket, if that makes sense. And so the promotion, both parties promote their list, 50-50 split on costs, leads share equally, and really the costs aren't that much. It's like a Zoom meeting you could basically do. So again, like this is like things numbers. 34%, like these are really, really good conversion numbers, I will say. This conversion is all going to depend on how you structure it and like your CTAs and like your call to actions, and things like that. Expect 100, 300 registrants, depending on what your list size is. Like it's going to be very, very difficult to actually get them to actually attend, which is where this matters. And then from there, it'll funnel down significantly. But the end of the deal, right? Like you can get like 100 billion different MQLs, but as long as it can transition smoothly to sales and they're like ready to buy, they basically go through BANT, budget authority need timing. That's pre-qualified through this webinar. Then like that's where the quality really comes from. So like I will say honestly, like if you're doing a webinar, you better do it right. That's all I'm gonna say. So tactic number 3: join events, co-sponsor conferences, host joint dinner events, run regional trade shows, participate in partner users conference. These are a lot more costly, right? So if you have the scale for it, go for it. They do produce the most results, in my opinion, right? Because you're face to face, and it makes sense, right? And it only I should actually say that. It only produces really good results if there are net new logos and you're able to actually get proper face time and like they're willing to listen versus like repeated customers. Like I've been in events where it's like, hey, we're not going to do this anymore because like, listen, everyone that was there, like, hey, they're not ready to buy yet, right? Like I already knew these people. It was the community, and like, yeah, it's good to show face and all, but like, things add up. And they were like converting. Your idea here is generate revenue at the same time, still build a relationship, but build a relationship to your North Star of getting more revenue. So just be mindful. And then like account-based marketing, target specific accounts jointly. So 20 to 50 target accounts, personalized campaigns, multi touch across both brands, coordinated outreach, basic, right? And marketing through partners, right? This is where I'm assuming a lot of people want it. Like most people spend a lot of their time actually doing this, right? Because that's mutually beneficial to the partner, where it's a marketing with partners. But through partners, where it's like, okay, partner referrals was number one, where people are hoping to get. It can work, and it does typically work if they've seen success and you can show success that other people like them have been able to get extra revenue or close deals or whatnot, right? And like this says mature partners who have like done this in the game and like have worked with you, like they'll typically send you a lot more referrals than usual. Partner content creates content featuring you, blog posts, social media mentions, newsletter features, customer success stories. And so what they're going to need actually is just a lot of lead magnets. So like I have, again, like I've worked in a major like multi-billion-dollar company, and these blog posts about integrations and like stuff like that, they're great for SEO, search engine optimization, aka helping them find. That's how Zapier scaled realistically, right? Because they were like, oh, we integrate with Google Sheets, we integrate with this. And so that's how they really grew their word of mouth and name through their integration partnerships, which is very, very important. And don't do these blog posts, right? These social media mentions and newsletter features, like do these, right? These are going to help. Where I think a lot, just be very careful the social side where your salespeople are selling, or maybe you're the co-founder or founder, head or salesperson kind of promoting this, like give stuff away for free. Like I think a really good case study for this is Jacob Bank from Relay.app. fantastic, and in my opinion, one of the best in terms of like giving out lead magnets and stuff like that. At least I won't say one of the best, but like he's really really good. Like he's got my attention and stuff like that. So I really highly check him out in terms of like what you could possibly do. Partner events. Partners include you in their events. Speaking slot, booth, a trade show. Self-explanatory, right? Partner newsletter. Self-explanatory. And then co-marketing investment, budget allocation, events is 40% of partner marketing budget. Content creation is 25%. Webinars 20, tools tech 10, miscellaneous 5, right? For a mature program, this is very much on the high side. This will mainly come from the events portion of it, I'm not going to lie. Content creation, if you outsource it, which honestly you should. If you're using a third party, will help you significantly. But yeah, this is where like 100 to 500K, like it can add up. But basically, there are very very cost effective ways that you can just avoid like doing like the events and kind of focus on other things until you build more capital, right? It's basically from top to bottom, what's the most leverage to least. And then co-marketing metrics, input, joint campaigns launched, content assets created, events hosted, partner participants, and then output metrics, leads generated, MQLs created, pipeline of influence, revenue attributed. And the target is 20-30% of marketing source pipeline should have partner involvement, right? So when we look at the joint business planning, this aligns strategy between you and your bigger partners, right? So when you do joint planning within top 10 to 20% of partners who drive 80% of results, the cadence is typically annual strategic planning, quarterly business reviews, monthly operational syncs, and then the annual joint business plan is like the objectives define what success looks like for the year, your objectives, X million in partner influence revenue, X new customer wins, X expansion deals, X% win rate improvement, and then partner objectives, right? Like X in services revenue from your customers, X certifications achieved, X customer references, partner market leadership in your tech. And then look at target accounts, identify specific accounts to pursue together, create 3 lists, tier 1, tier 2, tier 3. And then when we look at third component marketing activities, right? Plan joint marketing for the year. So launch partnership announcement campaign, a joint webinar series, customer conference participation, year-end campaign and planning. And then when we look at finally enablement, right? I'm going to go through these and kind of explain everything. Define training and development plans, partner commitments, 10 new certifications, 5 salespeople trained, 3 technical specialists enabled. And the commitments you'll have to have is like quarterly product training, monthly office hours, dedicated Slack channel, early access to new features. And so let's look at the investment. The agreed upon interest is the MDF is just marketing development funds, aka like the funds to actually do the marketing. Dedicated partner manager, right? Like you could commit to it if you don't need to. Like if you don't, but realistically, it's gonna help you, right? Co-marketing resources, executive engagement. And the partner will commit to 3 dedicated resources, joint account mapping, weekly syncs, executive sponsorship. And so we look at the metrics and tracking, define how you measure success, right? So if it's weekly, like pipeline, deal registration, active opportunities, monthly revenue, new wins, certifications, because obviously sales cycle might be a little different. And quarterly, keep your with full performance review and annually strategic planning system. So before we kind of dive into this, I'm just going to touch on each aspect and kind of show the overall picture, right? So the goal for this, right, is to make sure everyone is aligned, right? Because where there's not alignment, you're going to lose out. So what are the objectives, right? Who are we going to target after? How are we going to get to them? What help do you need from our side to get there? And what is the overall spend we have? And how do we know we're being successful? That's how I'd break it down, right? Like, and there might be some more nuanced stuff in here. This is very generalized, but, and obviously like blanket statements, but yeah, like this is the kind of framework you should be thinking of. And the quarterly business review, right? Which is essentially, this agenda will go into it, but like example agenda, but like, hey, like the review of the quarter, what's going on? So how are we done? What has been the challenge? What are we gonna do next? And then what can we do? What are the actual action items, right? So the revenue target, pipeline versus goal, win rate analysis, key wins and losses, and then like, hey, like what's not working? Where do we need help? Process developments needed, resource gaps, and then the next quarter targets, account focus, marketing plans, enablement needs, and action items like, hey, like who owns what, by when, how we'll track progress, right? So the way, like, I've sat in a couple QBRs, right? Like, I've done my time, and like, I'll tell you, like, include executives from both sides at least annually. And I say executives because I don't like when you talk about regional team. Like, if you're a bigger organization, you have like multiple people on the regional side like doing QBRs, like, partner account managers or regular account managers and like non-executive leadership. What you'll find is a misalignment from the people who actually make like the bigger decisions of where the company would be going and who would have more pull or levers to kind of like move towards a certain direction, right? Like, working as an account manager, I'm not gonna have as much pull on like the product side than an executive on the product side would, right? It just makes sense. So use data, not opinions. Bring reports, dashboard metrics, and just be honest with what's not working, right? Like, leave with clear action plans and owners, because ideally, right, like, you want to grow the organization, you want to grow revenue. So 30-minute operational check-in, agenda, deal pipeline review, upcoming activities, quick hits and updates, and focus on execution and not strategy. So when we look at the go-to-market by partner type, different partner types need different go-to-market approaches. So with solution partners, right, primary motion typically be co-selling, focusing on case studies, implementation success stories, and weekly for strategic partners, monthly for others, right? And then we look at tech partners, marketing through partners, right? To promote your integration. So when integration unlocks specific use cases, monthly things, quarterly marketing campaigns, right? Like, pretty standard. And resellers, partner-led sales, they own customer relationships, so your role would just be the enablement deal support, and weekly for active deals, and monthly for pilot review, right? Like, ideally, like, you'd like to, for the reseller portion, like, you already have a system in place that kind of enables them, but realistically, right, like, it's gonna be it's gonna be dependent basically, like, on how well you guys are able to actually incentivize, because sometimes you might need more hand holding support, especially like if they're not really producing. And then referral partners, simple referrals, provide easy tools, and then quarterly check-ins unless any active deals. Makes sense, right? So this is a checklist I think you should run through. When you're running things, is your co-selling setup? What does account mapping completed look like? Rules of engagement documented, sales stream trained, deal registration process working, compensation model clear, co-marketing setup, joint value proposition defined, content calendar planned, marketing budget allocated, asset creation process defined, lead sharing rules established. And then when we look at joint business planning, strategic partners identified, annual plan template created, QBR schedule set, metrics dashboard built, executed, sponsors assigned, right? And so when we look at mistake number one, is, and kind of wrapping up everything here, there's no rules of engagement, right? So sales and partners compete, creating the channel conflict, document the clear rules, enforce them, make examples when violated, right? Like, you gotta make sure you're running a smooth ship, otherwise it's gonna go downhill very fast once you get one hole. One-way partnerships, you expect partners to drive everything. I'm telling you, long term, you don't want that kind of relationship, because at the end of the day, you want to win together, not just win for yourself. Partnerships are 50-50, both parties invest and execute. Mistake number three, no account planning. Writing activities without strategic focus, build target account lists, focus efforts on accounts that matter. Number four, inconsistent education. Start strong, they disappear. So set your cadence, stick to it, weekly, monthly, quarterly. And then number five, measuring activities, not outcomes. We did 5 webinars, but realistically, you didn't generate any pipeline. And not even pipeline, no revenue. Right, so track results and activities, revenue and pipeline are what matter. Like I mentioned, so yeah.